Hello everyone and welcome to Jules Reads. I am Jules and this is going to be my January 2024 reading wrap-up. I did read 7 books in January and then I had 1 DNF. So let's get into it. My first DNF, or my only DNF, was Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I DNF'd this at about page 100 and I did some reading because I just was not getting into it. I just thought it was really slow. So I did some looking on some reviews and they said it doesn't really pick up until page 200 and it's only a like 250, 300 page book. So I just DNF'd it. It wasn't for me. I think it could be for somebody else, but it was not for me. So then let's get into the books that I did read in January, and these are in no particular order. And except for I am saving my favorite of the month for last, but I did have a lot of really good books that I read this month. And the first one is Water by John Boyne. And John Boyne wrote my favorite book of all time, The Heart's Invisible Furies. I love, love, love that book. I think I've read another one by him and I can't remember what it was called. I liked it, not as much as The Heart's Invisible Furies. But this one is a novella. It's pretty short. I think it's 170 pages and it's a short book, like as in height. And this is going to be a part of a 4-book series, all based on the elements. So water, fire, air, earth. And this one is water. This is his first one. I did order this from the UK on Blackwell's because it was not out in the US yet. I'm not sure if it is yet. But I did order this from the UK, and if you didn't know, you can order from Blackwell's, no shipping, and a lot of times it's cheaper than the big Amazon, so I really like ordering from them. At this time, this book has a 4.37 rating on Goodreads with about 3,600 ratings. This is about a woman named Vanessa, and she escapes to an island off the coast of Ireland, and she changes her name, she changes the way she looks. So throughout this book, we are learning the reasons why she's escaping Dublin and to this really quiet, secluded island. And we see her meet the really hesitant island dwellers who are questioning why she's come to kind of invade and interrupt their day-to-day. And it did make me wonder how myself or those around me that I know would react to the situation that she is in. I'm just curious what we would do in her situation. I did give this book 5 stars, and I'm really looking forward to the next one in the series. I think is going to be Fire, and it is based on a character in this book. It's a really small character, but it's based on somebody in this book. And this is The Girl from the Sea by Molly Knox Ostertag. And I gave this 4 stars, and this is a really sweet coming-of-age story. It's a beautiful graphic novel. I love the art style. It was very charming. It's about growing up, friendship, coming out, your first love, and yes, this did make me cry. So I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. And the next book I read in January, we read for our In Real Life book club. It was one of our picks, and it is Daughter of Fortune by Isabel Allende. At this time, it has 3.93 rating on Goodreads with 130,000 ratings. And this is about a woman in the 1800s traveling from Chile to California. This is during the gold rush. She's searching for her lost love. So it's a really perilous journey to get from Chile to California at that time. So it's about that journey. And then also once she gets to California, about the people that she meets, the immigrants coming there during the gold rush time. My only complaint about this book is that it kind of ended abruptly. But then I also kind of get it on why it ended that way. But I do definitely want to read more by Isabel, and I look forward to that. I'm not sure if I said, but I gave this 4 stars. And the next book I read in January is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I do not quite get all the huge raving reviews on Goodreads about this book, but I kind of get it and I kind of don't get it. This time it has 356,000 ratings with a 4.52 stars. So that's incredible. Yay for Barbara. And this book is a retelling of the David Copperfield book by Dickens. And it is told from the perspective of the main character. His name is Damon, but his nickname is Demon. And it's about him growing up in the southern Appalachian Mountains. It's about foster care. It's about the opioid crisis, poverty. It is a really kind of hard to read, but not super hard. I didn't see it. I did enjoy the writing, but I'm not sure that I connected completely with Damon. So I just didn't feel, even though you're in his head, I still feel like I don't quite know him that well. And I'm not sure what that is. I'm sure it's just me. I'm sure it's not the writing style. And I feel like everything bad that could happen to him does happen. But yet I did like it. I didn't love it. I liked it. And as I was writing down some thoughts on these books, I am changing my review from a 4-star to a 3.5. Goodreads doesn't let you do half stars or quarter stars like Storygraph, but I did put in my notes that it's a 3.5 for me. I liked it, I just didn't love it, and I don't know if Barbara Kingsolver is the writer for me or if it was just the wrong time, wrong place. I'm not sure, but a 3.5 still isn't bad. But the next book I read is Boundary Waters by William Kent Kruger, and I don't have the physical book because I did do this on audio. At one point on Amazon there was a bunch of his books for free, so I just downloaded as many as I could, maybe 5 at that time. I think I have the next one in this series. So this takes place in the series, the Cork O'Connor series. He's a former, I believe a sheriff or former detective, former officer of some sort. And this book I did give a 4-star. In this book he is asked to go look for a missing country singer named Shiloh. And it takes place up in the Boundary Waters of Minnesota. The Boundary Waters, I'm from Minnesota. The Boundary Waters is a very secluded wilderness area. And I have heard people here on YouTube that have talked about this book pronounce it as Boundary Waters. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I've only heard people in Minnesota say boundary. So I don't know what's correct or not. It's a really good winter read. It takes place in the winter and they're in the wilderness, so they are coming across all sorts of obstacles looking for her with the snow and the cold. And throughout the book you're trying to decipher who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. I did enjoy this book and I look forward to continuing on in this series. I'm not much of a series person, but I really like these and they're a great audiobook. So far I think I've listened to 4 William Kent Kruger audiobooks and they're all fantastic. In the next book that I have that I read, I can anticipate that this might be in my best books of 2024 already, and the next one, because the next one I even like more than this one. So it was a great start to January. So this book is The Talk by Darren Bell, and this is a graphic memoir. It is his story of growing up. It starts when he's 6 years old. The Talk refers to every parent of a black child having to have that conversation about racism and how they will be treated differently growing up. For example, in the very beginning, his mother is telling him at 6 years old that he can't have a water gun because of what might happen because of having that gun. It is also about Darren, the author, kind of finding his voice through drawing comics and graphics and doing art. And Darren is the first black person to win a Pulitzer Prize for editorial cartoons. The art in here is really powerful. It's a really thick, heavy, hardcover graphic memoir that I highly, highly, highly recommend. 5 stars. And my favorite book for January 2024, I gave it 5 stars. I'd probably give it 6 if I could, is The Book of Lost Names by Kristen Harmel. Current ratings on Goodreads are 188,000 ratings, and it has a 4.43 stars, so great ratings. That is fantastic for that many ratings, and I can see why. I fell in love with this book. I fell in love with Kristen's writing, and she writes very approachable writing style, and it moves quickly, and you don't get bogged down in so much detail. I really appreciated that. This is about Eva, a woman fleeing Paris in 1942 after her dad is arrested. He's a Polish Jew, and she finds a mountain village and she starts forging documents for Jewish children. I don't want to share why this book is called The Book of Lost Names because I feel like that would be a spoiler. Definitely want to read more by this author, and this is yet another historical fiction about a kick-ass woman. I love that, and I definitely want to read more about kick-ass women. So there you go. Those are my books that I read in January of 2024. Hope you guys are having fun starting off the new year reading. Let me know what you're reading, what your favorite book of January was down below. That would be great. And please subscribe if you like this video.